Hello, down and dirty networker. Happy post sneak peek day. Or for some of you, this is hump day. If you're on a 5-day work week, you're almost to the weekend. Regardless of what day it is for you, I hope you have had an amazing day. And if you haven't, I hope it's amazing from here on out. So if it hasn't been amazing up until now, let's plan for amazing this part forward. Sound good? I am so excited to be with you today. And if we have not yet connected, chime in and chat. And even if we have connected, let me know where you're watching from, whether you're watching live or on replay. And if you have not connected with me and this is your first time tuning in to Down and Dirty Networking, welcome. I'm Laura Merlando, the Stress Commando, and I am the founder and CEO of Down and Dirty Networking. And today we had our virtual sneak peek event, and I've got some great lessons learned and some recap stories that I think will really benefit and help you. And what we typically do, so let's just kind of back up, but what we typically do is every Wednesday, I go live to help you network more stress free, like we do in our Down and Dirty Networking community. But today you actually got to participate in the community. So, first off, thank you to everyone that attended our virtual sneak peek event today. You see, our online community is closed to members only, but every so often we open up an event for the public, and that event was today. The next one won't be until the fall, so stay tuned or hang out. If you'd like to be added to our waitlist, go ahead and drop me a message or drop me a comment and put hashtag waitlist, and I'll get you added. I'll give you the links so you can add yourself to the waitlist to know when the next one happens in the fall. But today, some of the lessons learned that we had were pretty cool. We had a really wonderful conversation, and that's what we're all about here. As a community, we are focused 100% on relational networking. We are cutting the fluff of traditional networking. So, when you think of traditional networking, you're probably thinking about a one-way conversation that is you giving a sales pitch, introduction, or 30-second commercial that ends in some kind of call to action, like buy my stuff, give me a job, promote me type of thing. So it's generally an exchange of a job, lead, or referral. And that's typically what we know traditional networking. When you go to traditional networking meetings, there's generally a lot of things that are typical that you see at every single event and some at every single meeting rather, and sometimes it can get a little bit predictable and often boring if you are there over and over and over again. But typically what would happen is you would have more of announcements, you would have introductions around the room that would be 30-second commercials or sales pitches. There's probably a program or speaker, and then there's very little time, or maybe there's even a business card exchange, but there's very little time for meaningful connections. And that's where we're different. In our community, we are focused on what I call relational networking. This is free of sales pitches. We remove all of the fluff that gets in the way of meaningful conversations. So I define relational networking as having meaningful conversations to build authentic and lasting relationships. You're focused on learning from someone and about someone. You talk less, question more, you get super curious. And so, one of the things I love is when you get into the bubble that is down and dirty networking, you are instantly everyone's best friend. You're instantly on the level playing field, and we curate the conversation immediately to be much more authentic, raw, and engaging to where it can be more meaningful. Now, one of the things I pride myself with, and I can use the words of everybody else, I've got notes here so I can read. So, I took some of the comments from the attendees. Now, we had a wide range of experience, ages, backgrounds in the actual sneak peek today. So, for those that made it in, congratulations to you for making it in. Not everybody makes it in. We have a hard start right on time. And then I admit all. Because of the nature, because we are so focused on having meaningful dialogue, we do not allow late attendees to enter because it disrupts everything. We want to focus on having the meaningful dialogues that we start right at the beginning. So, for those that made it in, congratulations, you made it in. And so, here's what a couple of the attendees had to say that relational networking and down and dirty networking eased my nervousness. You're not alone. Connections were made and people were making comments in the chat like we do exist because they realized they had a similarity that they normally wouldn't have talked about. We went deeper than a question of how are you and what do you do. That's very superficial. It's not how we roll. And all of a sudden people were like, oh my gosh, we have that in common. people that had never met before. And this happened within the first 5 minutes. So when we can foster that connectivity instantly, it changes the game for the meaningfulness and it changes the game for your vibrational energy. And so I'm pretty proud of the fact that I'm very intentional about making sure that your vibrational energy starts at a place and I raise it, whether it's a point 0.5, 1 point, however many points I raise it. My goal is to always raise it. And this is a valuable lesson for you. Energy is a very priceless commodity for me in this health journey. I have to be very selective and careful where I put it. Now, physical energy can be very low and your vibrational energy can be very high. So, unless I take a nap or do something else, sometimes there's nothing to do with physical energy, and throughout the day, it's going to tank. But vibrational energy can fluctuate throughout the day. And so, I'm incredibly intentional where I spend my physical energy so that I'm increasing my vibrational energy. And anytime I'm having a meaningful conversation that's fun, that can avoid nervousness and just make it very authentic, I'm going to raise my vibrational energy. Anytime I can facilitate connections and people are helping each other and having aha moments like we had in the community today, it's going to raise my vibrational energy. And so I'm pretty proud of the fact that today we had an attendee who started out the event with a vibrational energy of 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. So 1 being they had no energy. I don't like seeing zeros, so I just started at 1. So 1 was zero energy, vibrational energy, and 10, you were just over the top, ready to go. And so this person was at a 5, and by the end was at an 8. That's a huge jump. I was super proud of that. Overall, out of all the attendees, we were able to raise the vibrational energy by almost 1.5 points. Yeah, there was some fractions going on in there, but nobody lowered, nobody stayed the same. Everybody raised their vibrational energy. And so I'm really, really proud of that. So that's something that's a good lesson learned for all of you watching. What are you doing to raise your vibrational energy? Have you ever even heard of vibrational energy? If you've never heard about it, it's time that you did so that you're aware of what it can actually do for you. So if you'd like to share what you do for vibrational energy increases, let's kind of share. Put it in the comments. I'd love to learn what you do. One of the things that I know, being stranded on the island of alone when I first started this health journey, being tied to staying at home and unable to leave the house, it was very isolating. And I really wanted meaningful connections. I wanted conversation, and I was tired of being on the island of alone. I really felt stranded. And so I started facilitating connections as best as I could. And I had this crazy idea for a community called Down and Journey Networking, where I took all of my 16 years of training and curated a format that everyone could experience what I had been training on. And so I could help myself and others raise their vibrational energy and get off the island of alone. You don't have to be alone. You don't have to feel you're the only one going through this. That's what was so cool about that connection comment in the chat where they said, we do exist. They realized they weren't the only one, that there's more people. We're more alike than we are different. And it's uncovering what those similarities are and embracing the differences and learning from our uniqueness. Both are valuable. Both are needed. Both are necessary. And so I very much like that. Another one of the ahas that we got from the conversations was that marketing is not sales. A huge, huge aha, something that I personally see with a lot of clients as a marketing consultant. I see a lot of people mistake the two things, and they're not the same thing. And it can really be a difference maker in your success and your approach, understanding that difference. So I was super excited that that person got that aha. A couple other comments was everyone is so wise and everyone has valuable ideas to share. There were, like I said, a wide range of ages and experience in the room. And one of the things that's really easy to do, and what I talk about in the relational networking method, is to make sure you don't prejudge someone. It's really simple to think that they don't understand, or for you to think you can't possibly create value for somebody. And if you're a corporate professional, you may not think that you've got any value you can add an entrepreneur. Or if you're a student, you may think you don't have any expertise or skill set to offer to someone who's a more seasoned professional or entrepreneur. And that's just not the case. Everyone's got a perspective, and you have to approach things with an open mindset, and you might be surprised what you learn. And I was so excited to see that was some of the takeaways from today's event, that everyone is so wise and everyone has valuable ideas to share. Not a specific target, a person, but everyone. And so I hope you realize if you're listening to this, whether you're watching live or on replay, you are valuable. You are wise and you have what you need all inside you, right? Isn't that what it was the whole theme of The Wizard of Oz? You always had it inside you, Dorothy. We all do. And we sometimes need to be reminded of that, and sometimes more reminders than we might think we need. But the surest way to do that is to have a meaningful conversation where you're providing value to somebody else. Nothing feels better than being able to provide impact and help another. It feels good to give. And giving is a very great way to raise your vibrational energy. But then you also need to be open to receiving. You need to recognize you're worthy of receiving goodness and receiving help and support. And being open to receive that is also not only just going to help you move forward with momentum, but it will also raise your vibrational energy. And once you have your vibrational energy raised, it's like taking a breath of fresh air. It clears the overwhelm. You have clarity and you're able to approach the rest of your day with a lot more focus, intention, and you will be more productive. Now, there's actually a couple of studies out, and you've heard me talk about it, and we'll be talking a lot more about it now that we're closed to the public at this point. But what we're going to be showing you is why it's important to focus on relational networking, how the power of community, like our community, can really increase your reputational capital and your social capital, which can absolutely translate to health benefits and to career benefits. And it doesn't matter what your career is. So loneliness is an epidemic here in the U.S. and in the world, and it's deemed so by Cigna. It's not my words; this is Cigna. They've deemed loneliness an epidemic, and it costs businesses to the tune of $154 billion with the billion. $1 billion for them to offset the costs of absenteeism and different issues that people will call in sick or lack of productivity for loneliness and stress. The sense of belonging is what increases your social capital. And organizations are needing to really tap into this to retain talent and to get the best productivity of their talent that they do have. Well, you can go and hope as an organization to create that. If you are an organizational leader, you can work on creating that culture for you. If you're an entrepreneur or an employee, you can create that for yourself in the way that you approach things. And so this is some of the things that people got to experience today. And I think universally, people were like, this was different than what I expected, even though they came with a very open mind. So I want you to be open to the fact, to be bold, be brave, try new things, be open minded, and let the experience teach for yourself. Be a collector of experiences because that is what's going to create diversity of thought, and it's going to actually open up some of the opportunities you never thought possible because you can see things you never could see. You get that 360-degree perspective. It's a little bit more work to DIY create this own community without having it curated like we do for you in Down and Dirty Networking, but it is possible. It's just going to take a little bit more work and a little bit more time. So I hope that this is helpful. I'm super proud, like I said, of everything that we learned in the sneak peek. I'm excited for those that were able to attend. And for those of you that registered and did save your seat, but unfortunately weren't able to come, I totally understand that you couldn't make it. But thank you for reaching out and telling me. That's what we're all about. We're about relationships and being able to have a conversation wherever we are. It's having a campfire together over conversation. And sometimes you're not able to be right next to the fire, and that's okay. Regardless of your level of desire or intent, I appreciate you. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. Chime in chat what your takeaway is, whether you're watching live or on replay. If you want to go back and watch any of the questions about the community that we talked about, because I went live every day from last Wednesday to today, feel free to watch those. And all of our lives outside of these daily ones are Wednesday networking know-hows are all really cool tips. You can find them on our page on LinkedIn, YouTube, or on Facebook to help you network more effectively. So I look forward to chatting with you. Stay tuned. Next Wednesday, I will be going live again for Networking Know-How, and I go live every 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So somewhere in there, I'll go live. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Our latest issue of Networking Boost, our newsletter, is out. If you are connected to us on LinkedIn, you can go ahead and click subscribe to Networking Boost and get a bunch of tips curated to you that we give so that you can network more effectively and get some personal testimonials. So that's probably one of the easiest ways to stay connected with us in between sneak peeks is to connect with the Networking Boost, and then it makes sure you have your name on our wait list. All right, I appreciate you. If you have found this valuable, give me a thumbs up, put a comment. Go ahead and tag a friend that could use this tip today. Someone you know that really could use some vibrational energy increase. Maybe this will give them some guidance, one awareness that it exists and it's a thing, and guidance on how to increase it, and recognition that we have control over our vibrational energy. External forces we might not have control over, but this we do if you choose to do that. So, with that, I'm going to go and say thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here, and I will see you next week for Networking Know How. But until then, happy networking.